right, everybody got your cup of coffee? Except you, Cindy. I know you don't do coffee.
I don't drink coffee. I know one of those strange people that doesn't do caffeine. I have to have it naturally.
Well, good. That's one of the things we love about you. You are naturally perky and a bright spot. That's why we call it the Sun Spot, because it's the Selma Sun with Cindy Fisher, owner and publisher, and then myself, Todd Prater, here at the station and part of the Selma Sun as well. So,
That's right.
Good morning. How you doing this week, Cindy?
Yeah, it's been a pretty good week. We have a graduation edition that's coming out next week that we're preparing for. So we're going to be listing all of the graduates from the schools in Dallas County, private, public, all of the schools, and photos if they can provide it. So the schools have been very excited about it and the opportunity to share who our graduates are. I would do it no matter what, whether it was COVID or not, but it's more important than ever to do it this year because they don't get that traditional ceremony, and this can be a keepsake for them for their wacky graduation year.
That's a really good point too, because like you say, a lot of people, wouldn't have the oh, look what I just did. That was my monitor. Sorry about that. Once again, quick aside, there's one person here, and while we're talking, doing 3 different little technical things, and that button should have been pressed. But anyway, yeah, it's going to be very special this year.
I love you, Todd.
Thank you. Oops. But, okay, and press that button so we'll actually hear it. There we go. So it is a weird year. A lot of weird things that have been going on with the COVID and whatnot, and one of the things that I was talking about on the air earlier this morning was with sporting events, and NASCAR's back with a lot of restrictions, and is kind of the I guess the poster child, you'd call it, or it's what everybody's looking to in the sporting world to see how can we get our sports back.
Well, now they have 100,000 people can watch in person, side by side. So I do think that theirs is safe to do on TV.
Right, but they don't have anybody in the stands, though,
Right,
So
I worked in Daytona Beach for 5 years.
Oh, wow.
And, of course, the Daytona 500 is important. That community makes so much money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yes, they have a beach and people come for spring break and all of that, but NASCAR is people with money.
Right.
Which is why you see all of those logos all over everything.
Yeah.
So if you don't have those people coming and staying in the hotels and eating at the restaurants and buying your hats and whatever, it's not a trickle effect of the economy. So I think it's great that the sport has started back up again. TV will benefit from it with commercials and such, but the place itself, it's just not the same. And I'm not advocating that they just say, forget it, and just put 100,000 people in the stands.
Right.
We just have a long way to go economically. I just look at it from that kind of picture to get it back to normal. Now, as far as the morale of having a sport to watch, yeah, I can see that because, the Koreans started playing baseball again while we're not playing baseball. And it was being aired. It probably still is being aired. And a lot of people have been laughing about it. But then again, they're watching it.
Right.
That's an awesome opportunity to have a sport to watch. So if you really like those sports, you're getting some opportunities to see those sports. If that's what we need in order for people to not feel as stir crazy, then that's not a bad thing. I kind of wondered about baseball because unlike basketball where they're constantly bumping up on each other, and there's a lot of basketball players that caught COVID from all the travel and some of the overseas stuff. So it could be. I do think it's great that NASCAR started because they're in a car. That's what we're doing for church services,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. They're separated from each other, and they have limits on the number of pit crew. There's the distancing rules and all these different rules and checking temperatures and
that's going to be really challenging though because I've worked a pit crew before. Actually,
I'm
um,
jealous. I did not
it
know
was
that.
fun. Yeah, I got to do a lot of NASCAR coverage. They liked having a girl around. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, who doesn't? I
And
mean,
so I was the air hose puller.
no, that's
Um,
cool.
I pulled the air hose. But they do so many scientific things back there. They burn the
Yeah.
layers of the tires that have been taken off to see how long they lasted,
Right.
and they log that. If you don't have all the people there, I mean, they clearly have those people there for a reason.
Exactly.
So it would really kind of mess up how they have been doing. Not to say that they shouldn't be doing that for protection,
Right.
but
Exactly. But there's
I'm
major
curious to see, is
adjustments.
somebody going to have to pull the hose and burn the
Right.
tire to check it? Right. So, and
Exactly.
they told me I was too slow.
Oh no.
Even though, I felt like I was doing it like uber fast, right? Oh no, their level of fast is something you have never seen humanly done.
Now I would
They
love to work
also
a pit
gave me a
crew.
shirt that was an extra large, and I'm 100 pounds. And
Oh
in my
wow.
defense, the shirt was too big.
But you know what? That could be. It could get in the way. There you go.
It
Yeah. I'll tell you,
did.
I've driven a NASCAR race car. I got to do 8 laps around Talladega.
Talladega. See,
That's
I've never
fun.
been to Talladega, so I know all there is to know about a Daytona, but I've never been to
Tell you,
Talladega.
yeah, but you worked a pit crew, but it's going to be
I
fun.
did.
The race today actually is at it's at 5 o'clock our time, so it'll be
On a
again interesting.
Wednesday.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's again the
Interesting.
adjustment is the schedule. They're trying to get in races that they missed from being off, and I think all sports are going to have adjustments like that. So it's going to be interesting to see how other sports pick up on this and if they pick it up and run with it. So we'll be talking about
That
that.
is
Yeah.
interesting.
You know, we got an interview we ought to do right now with Dr. Tiffany Maycock talking about COVID stuff and just an update from UAB Family Medicine. I think Dr. O visits with her as well, and they've got some information or some reminders as to things that we need to be watching for during this time. So let's go on and get that and see what they had to say. Then we're going to come back. We'll talk with Cheryl Smedley and shift gears just a little bit and talk about things other than just the COVID-19.
Gotcha.
Ready? You ready?
Let's do it.
Here you go. Hello from the studios of Sky Communications. I have joining me today Dr. Tiffany Maycock from the UAB Family Medicine. Thank you, Dr. Maycock. And I see you got a room full. Why don't you introduce the doctors that are joining you today?
Actually, I just have Dr. Oyashiku right here. It's the two of us, and yeah, we're here. The rest of them had to go. We're at the hospital right now, so we had to go do some work. So,
well, and obviously there's other things that have to be done in the hospital, which is kind of what we're talking about. Is the fact that things are opening back up here in Alabama and restaurants and businesses. And you had some suggestions, or both of y'all had some suggestions on things that people can do as we go back into the public to help keep ourselves and others safe. Why don't you go on and kind of give us an idea of some of the things that we need to watch out for?
well, in general, our message is simple. We think everybody should just continue to stay home as much as possible. If you need to go out to do shopping or anything, it's important that everybody wears their masks. And then have some hand sanitizer that you can use once you get back. Like, you can keep it in your car so that once you go out and you touch other things, when you get back in your car, you can hand sanitize before you keep going. And try to do all your shopping like all at once. I know that Walmart has the app where you can pre-order stuff where you don't actually have to go inside the store, or you get the majority of your things that way and then go in just for a few choice things. So if you can limit your contact with other people at this time, at least for the next month or so, I think that's going to be safest. I know that things are opening up and people are itching to get out, but it's still not safe. The numbers are surging all around Dallas County, and so for us to think that we're immune is not wise. So, yes.
Would some of that surge be attributed to better testing? Because I know we've got a couple of new testing sites, at least. I know one in particular at Memorial Stadium, and I'm sure that we're catching more cases than we were before. Don't you think?
Yes, we definitely are capturing more cases, but I think that a lot of people still haven't been, as quarantined as as needed to, and I think that is playing a part in it. And so I think us still being vigilant about staying at home, sheltering in place, those kind of things it's going to be essential, and making sure when you do have to go out that you do wear your mask. And then
Right.
when you are out, and you can go to, I think the state parks are still open. And so you
Right.
can go out and go for walks and things like that, but you would still need to stay at a socially distance from other people.
Right, and you're right. The state parks are open. I know Oklahoma Archaeological Park is open, and even so, Grist Park is open, Roland Cooper, 6 Mile, they're all open, but they're also promoting the social distancing, keeping only in your family unit and not like going from one campsite to the next and things like that. And
Correct.
so, and a lot of like visitor centers, a lot of them are not open right now because usually they're very small, little, like at Oklahoma, it's just a small little room, so they're not even opening it. Yeah, so I guess right
you can
now
still go out to Oklahoma and go for a bike ride or go for a walk.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place to go.
Yeah, it is.
People apart from people at places like that.
Right, and then the honor boxes are there so that you can pay to go into those. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly, and I mean, and that's a great thing to get out. Heck, getting out and getting some good exercise like that is a wonderful thing. Get out in the sun.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's a wonderful thing to do. What other things would you suggest people be like when they go to restaurants and whatnot? Because I had one question: if you got to wear a mask in a restaurant, how are you going to eat?
You can't eat. So I would recommend if you want restaurant food that you get it to go and you take it home and eat it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of them that are they will require you to sit a number of feet apart, maybe even a booth. I know Hancock Barbecue in particular, they have like you can't sit, but every other booth, and some of the other places that are opening up are doing the same kind of thing. Then again, curbside service is still available at most of the eating establishments as well.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's right. That's right. So just. And sometimes you have to be creative about things. You can still order things, online. There's some places that you can, order it, and like at Mark Smart, you can call them and you can order it, and they have curbside service so that you can pick it up.
Dave's has got curbside, the online order. You can even pay for it online at Dave's, and they'll bring it right out to the car.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So a lot of companies are doing creative things. I know even hairdressers and things like that, they have adjusted how they're doing things, where they only have like one client in the facility at a time, and they do cleaning between clients and things like that. So be careful about where you choose to go, and make sure that the people that you are going to are practicing good hygiene as well.
Well, see, that's why I decided I didn't want to go to any hairdressers anymore, so I told my wife, just cut it all off. And she did.
That works.
She got mad at me in the middle of the night, but that's really not true. But, so, sorry about that. But that's a good point, too. Hairdressers, nail salons, things like that. Those are kind of iffy, don't you think?
I still think they're very iffy. So I would... if you don't have to, it's not worth the risk at this time. It's just best to, be like Dr. Oyoshiko and I, just put a cap on and keep rolling.
Well, there you go. So, speaking of doctors, what are some things that if we come to UAB Family Medicine, what are some of the things we need to be aware of? What are patients doing? I mean, is the waiting room open? Are you waiting in the cars? How are y'all handling that?
Well, every place is different. I know that when I went to the dentist, we had to wait in the car, and then they brought us in. We have set our waiting room up so that the chairs are strategically placed, and so that they're not too close together. And we have rules about how many people can be. We're only having a few people in the waiting room at a time, and then we're bringing them back. Everybody has to wear a mask in the hospital, in the clinic. So if you don't, we prefer everybody to have one when they come in, but they don't have one, we do provide them one once they come in the building. And then we're screening them when they come into the building, and then we're sanitizing between patients and things like that. We're constantly cleaning the waiting room and other places where people will touch. We've moved things out of the way that people would normally just kind of touch. We kind of just remove those things, like those magazines that you would normally flip through. We just move those so that we don't have those. So we're just trying to limit people's contact of things.
Kind of leads to the question then, is this the way it's going to be from now on, or will we kind of get past all this? Are we going to go back to something more akin to normal like it was? What do you think?
Not in the foreseeable future.
Unfortunately, this might be the new normal, which means that the new normal is going to be us being extra careful in everything that we do. And it's probably a wake-up call to the fact that, it's not just the COVID. We've had other viruses prior to now, but it's a wake-up call for us to just be more hygienic and conscious of our environment. And it's going to be the new normal, at least for us in the hospital. We're constantly going to be dressing up and covering up and wearing the mask all the time. But out there as well, people need to realize that for a long while, at least until we have a vaccine, we're going to always need to constantly have that hand hygiene, avoid contact, avoid public places. Avoid public gatherings where there's a lot of people in closed spaces. And, until we've gotten to that point where we're sure that the numbers are coming down and we've built some kind of immunity against it, then we cannot let our guard down. So if you accept you have to go out, then go out. And if you must go out, then be careful. Don't throw caution to the wind and just be like, oh, we're cool now. No, this is the new normal. You probably wouldn't have any gatherings, no concerts or sporting events and stuff for a while to come, because we're all still trying to figure out, this virus and treatment and all that kind of thing. So
I think once we get more universal testing, I think that will help. That we'll be able to create more rules or policies once we are able to reliably test everyone. I think that would be something that could help us get more back to normal. And then also, there's an antibody test, which is a test to see if you have built up an immunity to it, but it's still new. They're doing a lot of research with it up at UAB, and but we're not sure, because this virus changes so much. We're not sure if knowing that you have immunity to it today, if it changes, if you're gonna still have immunity to the changed one, a month from now. So those things are still up in the air. So even though we're working in a lot of different areas, with coming up with a vaccine and coming up with testing, universal testing and antibody testing, there's still a lot of unknowns. So
do you think that humans are losing some immunity that in the past, like with overuse of antibiotics and things like that maybe that's contributed to this being so bad? Or is this just an odd virus that we don't have an immunity to begin with?
It's a virus, but it's not any more odd than, say, the Spanish flu was, at the turn of the century. Thousands and thousands of people died from that. Thankfully, and they did the same thing that we were doing today. 100 years ago, they quarantined everybody, and until it kind of died out, and then and at that time they didn't have a vaccine for it. So I'm thinking it might be similar to that, but it's gonna take time for us to, like I said, get a vaccine forward and get a and build up our immunity.
Right. Well, I figure my horses kissed me, so I must be immune to it. I mean, if you can go kiss a horse, But seriously, I understand what you're saying, and I think that, like you say, we just need to be very cautious right now. Is there anything else that maybe we need to add to it as we wrap up? Any other reminders you might want to give everybody?
If you
Wear
don't,
your mask.
wash your hands, sanitize as much as you can. And if you don't have to go out, don't go out. Like,
stay home.
Stay home as much as you can.
Right. I want to thank y'all both again, Dr. Maycock, Dr. O. Y'all are always a joy to speak with and always have great information. Thanks for spending some time with us this morning, or this afternoon, rather, and looking forward to talking to you again soon.
All right.
So thank you for having us.
That's Dr. O and Dr. Maycock from UAB Family Medicine. And actually, that was...
Did you know that all those jewelry-related services you've been wondering about are available right here in Selma, Alabama? This is Doris Butler, and I'm here to remind everybody that Butler Diamonds and Fine Jewelry offers custom design and jewelry and sterling silver appraisals. I also purchase jewelry estates. I'm working by appointment and practicing social distancing to keep everyone safe and healthy. Call me with any questions you might have. That number is 334-874-4616. Curbside pickup is available. Also, delivery and shipping options are available. Call me for more information, 334-874-4616. Check out some of the beautiful jewelry pieces that are available on our Facebook page. It's Butler Diamonds and Fine Jewelry. Give me a call to schedule your appointment, 334-874-4616. Butler Diamonds and Fine Jewelry, 334-874-4616.
Buying rural property isn't the same as buying in town. If you're in the market to purchase your own piece of paradise or need an operating line for your farm, give our friends at Alabama Ag Credit a call. As the local experts in rural real estate financing, they can help you with everything from homes and land to tractors and crops. Because sometimes natural resources need financial resources. And while some lenders don't get it, they do. Learn more by visiting alabamaagcredit.com.
The following message is from your friends at the Central Alabama Farmers Co-op. We want to let you know that we will continue to be open to service our farmers and producers in this difficult time. Production and shipping have slowed, but we are doing our very best to keep products in stock and on the shelf. We are taking precautionary measures when it comes to sanitation and disinfecting. The health of our staff and customers is of the utmost importance to us here at the Co-op. Please continue to pray for all of the farmers and producers feeding this great nation. God bless you all and stay safe from the management and staff at the Central Alabama Farmers Co-op.
All right, and we are back. Great interview with those lovely ladies. They always do a great job, have good information, and, they're like so many of the doctors right now, they're still preaching the, minimum contact, masks, and the biggest thing is sanitizing and washing hands, it sounds like.
And that's kind of the basics that I think a lot of us have gotten really good at. And many have been saying that may be something we do from now on.
Yeah, well, maybe we should have been.
It's becoming habit.
Yeah, exactly.
We should have been, yeah. But the hand sanitizer, all of that, they make them where you can carry them with your keys and all those things. Right. I don't know that anyone ever really used them, but I can definitely see that being a lasting effect after this.
The one thing I do want to ask a doctor is, are we going to get to a point where we're overdoing it and not allowing a little bit of these bugs? Are we going to destroy our immune system? Because,
I know. After my kids, and this is silly, but after my kids were done with preschool, I felt like I started getting sick with more things. So when you are, exposed to all these, colds and different sicknesses when they're little, you kind of can fight it off better.
Right.
It may be one of those things where but I don't know enough about it to get anyone freaking out about it.
By no means am I a doctor. I'm just, it's just a question that popped into my head.
It's an interesting thought.
So, but let's shift. I was just thinking, though, while that interview was going, as we went into it, I said we're going to shift gears a little bit and talk about something other than COVID. However, everything we talk about now, in one way, shape, or form, has been affected by this pandemic. What we're going to talk to Michelle Smedley about is not only some of the businesses that are open and things, but tourism and how the numbers from last year came But how will this year be affected, and why is it affected? Because of COVID. I'm going to get her on the phone.
And I think that's going to be there's a report that just came out about how much economies were boosted by tourism in 2019. So this would not be affected by COVID. And I think it will be interesting to talk to her about what we have seen last year and maybe what we can expect to see this year. It's hard to predict, but with fewer tourists coming through already for the first quarter of 2020, I'm not sure that we could reach $87 million like that they spent in our economy. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, and we seem like we're having a problem with our phones here, so
Okay.
we may have to talk to her next week or talk to her later, but there seems to be some sort of a problem. Although I know I don't have an alternative because you're on my cell phone.
Sorry.
Yes. Again, that goes back to
We're
how
trying to be
everything.
creative.
Exactly, everything is affected.
Yeah.
You know? So, I mean, normally what I do is I'd literally. Oh, look at there! Now the phone's not even making a noise. Yeah, we're having some phone issues. All right, well, oh, there it comes back. But, normally what I would do is say, oh, I got this little wire. I'll call her on my cell phone, plug the wire in, we can talk to her. Ain't going to work because of this. So, that's one thing we cannot get away from is the fact that this COVID has affected everything we do.
And, if like for this week in our edition that comes out tomorrow, you actually have, did you get it working?
Yeah, I did. I'm magic.
You are magic.
Well, thank you.
But we do have a story about, we'll go back to the tourism if we can get her on, that is looking at how much, and it's kind of like what we were talking about with NASCAR.
Cheryl?
When people come to town to see things.
Hey, there she is.
There she is. Yay.
How are you doing this morning, Miss Cheryl?
I'm doing fantastic. I hope you all are.
Oh, gosh, yeah, we're doing great. Cindy?
Yes, doing great.
Good morning.
Well, we had spoken yesterday about you got some a couple of things you wanted to about business openings and things, but you have some wonderful tourism numbers that you wanted to tell us about from 2019, of course. But we would love to hear what the report has to say.
Okay, so last Sunday, our tourism state director, Mr. Lee Centel, released the numbers for the 2019 year, and economist Dr. Kevin DeVario, and according to the report, travelers spent $87 million and were responsible for 1,192 jobs last year in Dallas County.
Wow!
And this figure represents a 14.8% increase in traveler spending on hotels, restaurants, shopping, and transportation.
Man, is there any other good news like that from last year that that report tells us?
And also our state lodging tax that we collect every month, the total for the year was $265,058, which was an increase of $34,193 from the previous year, 2018, and that's a rate growth of 14.8%.
That's fantastic. Now the question is, the question now is, what are we going to see for the 2020 tourism year?
Well, we're hopeful. We had a call yesterday. We have a Tuesday call every week with Mr. Centel across the state, and yesterday the Space and Rocket Center laid off over 100 workers there.
Wow.
So it's they're hoping that eventually when things open back up again, those people can come back to work up there. Now south, the beaches have opened up, and it's like when they first opened up, Mr. Herb Malone shared that it was like Memorial Day weekend down there.
Right.
Folks, and then it was mostly made up of folks from around the state of Alabama that had come down to the beach.
I see.
So slowly but surely, we're getting back on track.
Yeah, and that slowly is the key word there. This is going to be, you know, unprecedented. So I guess we're going to kind of have to play it by ear as to how things are going to be affected for the tour. And the good thing is we're starting to open back up as the weather gets better. So maybe there'll be an opportunity to recoup some of what would otherwise potentially have been lost.
Right, and here's a brighter note as well, Todd and Cindy. People are looking for safe places to come, so they're taking back road trips and RV trips, and according to the RV industry, there's not an RV available for rental right now. Folks have rented them out to take road trips. So hopefully we'll see some of that traffic as well in our area because, you know, Alabama's known for its road trips. It's one of its promotionals, and we've got all kind of outdoor attractions right here in natural resources in Selma, Dallas County.
Well, that's true. And just like we were talking about in the interview with Dr. Maycock a minute ago, you got state parks that are open like Grist and Roland Cooper. You got 6 Mile on the other side of the river. What's the one that y'all went to, Cindy, the other park over there?
We went to Roland Cooper. We've been to Elm Bluff, but Elm Bluff was closed.
Oh, is it closed? Okay, I didn't realize that. But, you know, Roland Cooper is open, and they've got a beautiful campground there. Grist open and a beautiful campground. So there's plenty of places to do some RV camping here, as well as, you know, primitive tent camping and whatnot. And then, of course, Okahaba isn't a campground, but you've got a great place to go and spend an afternoon. So there's plenty of places here. So, yeah. But
and then, of course, some of our restaurants have opened up, so that opportunity as well. The Sandbar opened up its dining area, so folks can, if they're going to take a trip on the river, they can stop in and get their something to eat or pick it up and take it with them.
Right. Oh, that's a good idea. Well, fantastic.
Yeah, that sounds great, doesn't it?
I'm ready to get on
and
the river.
We got the perfect weather for it.
Yeah, it'd be great. And it's going to be like that for the next few days, too, as a matter of fact. So this would be a good time. This weekend would be a great weekend to get out on the river and go frequent some of our attractions around the area.
Yeah.
Cindy, you got anything?
What about stores that are reopening? Are they finding any challenges with the restrictions, or they feel like that they are able to, you know, start making money again, bringing in customers again?
Yeah, they're so far so good. It's slow. But, you know, because people are still, you know, some people are still cautious, but they still offer their online and curbside service. So that's, you know, a big plus. And then our library, it's reopened up from 9 till noon, and then from noon to 5, Monday through Friday, they're offering the curbside service. So they're slowly but surely, and they're asking folks to practice social distancing when going into the library. And then our courthouse, it opened up Monday, and they've got tents, so you don't have to stand out in the sun or the weather, and it seems to be moving. It seems to be moving right along, transitioning in as well.
That sounds fantastic. And I think you told me that there was a line the first day that the courthouse opened up.
Yeah. Yes, it was a little overwhelming for folks the first day because they were lined up. You know, we sit on the opposite corner, so there were folks almost lined up to our building along the sidewalk.
Wow. That I'm waiting. I need to go get my tag renewed, and I can't do it online. So I've been waiting for the lines to go down.
Got till June 19th, remember?
That's right. You got till June 19th.
Yeah, I got to get. I got a 15-year-old who's itching for his learner's permit, so I've got to find out. And this is something that I should have done this week. When the driver's license office, what their hours are, because remember, that being state and not county, it's on a different schedule than the county. Although they share or they have a room in the courthouse, it's different. So I'll have to call them and find out. But,
that's a good point. I need to know that too because I have to update mine too. Let me know.
Right. Yeah.
I think there's been a lot of challenges with getting the information out. I know we've run several stories about the courthouse reopening.
Right.
And get tons and tons of attention online.
Well, that's good.
Our Facebook, people are clearly asking, about fishing permit. I did my fishing permit online.
Right, yeah, outdooralabama.com. Outdooralabama.com
So
is
there's
the
a
best
lot of
place.
ways. They're asking, what about pistol permits and all the different things that they're used to just walking in and doing. So, people are desperate for information.
Yeah, and I think as we get back to normalcy, it's like, okay, it's time to get these things so we can go do these things. And with the fishing and the pistol permits, going to ranges and stuff, a lot of people are saying, well, I ain't got anything else going on right now, so,
right.
And most of that can be done online. Well, Cheryl.
Hey, and one more thing I want to put out is that every April we have the annual yard sale, and it's put on by Angie's Auction, where folks come from all over the Southeast. So that's going to come back up on Friday, June the 19th, and Saturday, June the 20th, from sunrise to sundown.
Oh.
There'll be vendors, and if you're a vendor or a collector and you want to participate, just give them a call out there. They've got plenty of room for vendors. Their number is 875-3147 or 412-0263.
Fantastic.
And it's $20 per day to sell, and you can't go wrong with that.
No, that's always a fun thing to do, to go see what everybody's got.
I love yard sales.
Yeah, me too.
I love it.
All right. Was there anything else, Cheryl?
I think we pretty much talked about everything.
Good.
The downtown restaurant's going to open up on June the 1st. We're doing some renovation. Looking forward to a fresh new look when they reopen. The coffee shop, she's still not reopened, but getting ready. And of course, we know the Tally Ho, they're still in the renovation as well. So we've got lots of things happening to look forward to in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
So if you've got any questions, you can always give us a call at the Chamber of Commerce. We're there Monday through Friday, 875-7241, or send us an email at info@selmaalabama.com.
Thank you so much, Cheryl. You're always a pleasure and a joy to speak with.
Thank y'all, and have a great day.
All right. I tell you what, we're going to take a real quick break after we talk to Miss Cheryl, and we'll be right back with more.
My name is Marlo Wolf. I'm a certified family nurse practitioner working in one of the Wilcox County offices in Pineapple, Alabama. We're at 867 County Road 59. We see insured, we see uninsured patients, we see children and adults. We manage a lot of chronic health conditions, diabetes, hypertension, chronic kidney disease, obesity, but we also do a lot of preventative medicine. So we do a lot of screenings. It's so much easier to prevent a disease than it is to treat a disease sometimes. So we identify pre-diabetic patients and do a lot of education with them. For instance, a lot of people don't realize fruits have a lot of natural sugar in them. They think it's healthy. In fact, it does raise your sugar levels. So those patients, we can actually sometimes prevent from developing diabetes. A lot of screenings, mammograms, colonoscopies, all the health maintenance things we also focus on. For an appointment, you can call us at 251-746-2197.
Tonight,
it's the Masked Singer grand finale.
Be there as Frog, Turtle, and Night Angel do battle one last time. May the best mask win.
The winner is.
Then join football's Watt Brothers.
We're taking the game of tag to an ultimate level
for the premiere of a new competition series, Ultimate Tag, after the Masked Singer season finale.
Tonight on Fox 20.
With temperatures rising outside, your air conditioner will be running more frequently. The heat of the summer is not the time for your AC to go out. Call Harold's Refrigeration today to make sure it's running in tip-top shape. Harold's trusted technicians have been repairing, replacing, and supplying parts to air conditioning systems and home appliances since 1973. Harold's Refrigeration also offers a great selection of new GE appliances. So call Harold's Refrigeration today before your cooling system puts you in an uncomfortable situation. 872-8905. Alabama HVAC 83253. Alabama Refrigeration 50079.
All right, and we are back. Hi, Miss Cindy. How was that? That's really good to know. I love the way Cheryl puts the positive in things. She's looking forward to things getting back and being where they need to be, and I appreciate that.
She's shining the light just like we do. I love it.
Exactly. And, we were talking about the sports a little while ago and how sports are different right now and going to be different. And different to the point where we're not even sure yet, because again, this whole situation is unprecedented. Bullet Hand on Bullet Sports Bulletin spoke with Gunnar Henderson, who, as you know, is a Baltimore Oriole now. He's in the Orioles organization. And a hurricane put the playoffs on hold. The COVID has put another hold on the season. So let's see what Gunnar had to say, what Bullet and Gunnar had to say about where things are going from here. So this is Bullet's Sports Bulletin.
Hello again, everyone. This is Bullet Hand, and we appreciate you joining us on this edition of Bullet's Sports Bulletin. The Bullet Sports Bulletin is sponsored by Gus Colvin State Farm and Ryan Select Turf. So we like to thank the folks at Gus Colvin State Farm and the folks at Ryan Select Turf for sponsoring Bullet's Sports Bulletin. And today on the bulletin with us is none other than Gunnar Henderson. He is now a professional baseball player in the Baltimore Orioles organization. Gunnar, welcome to the Bullet Sports Bulletin.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
We're thrilled to have you with us. Of course, Gunnar was drafted the first pick in the second round of the Major League Baseball draft last June after a stellar career at Morgan Academy and the 42nd pick overall. And Gunnar, you went on down to Sarasota, Florida last year, first year pro ball. What was that like for you?
It was a great experience, just transitioning from Morgan to the pros and the Gulf Coast League. It was definitely an eye-opening experience, but I felt like I was ready for it from the summer experiences I had, and it turned out to be a pretty good first year.
Gunnar went down to from a team that had played for the state championship at Morgan Academy and ended up going 30-2 to a Gulf Coast Orioles team that ended up going 38-15. Actually won the league, but they canceled the playoffs because a hurricane was coming through. Is that what happened?
Yes, sir. The Hurricane Dorian came through, and right when we were about to start our playoffs, we finished up the last game, and then got a notification on Twitter actually that the rest of the season was canceled, and we were all just kind of, well, what do we do now? So they told us to go home within the next 2 days. So packed up everything in the truck, and I headed back.
What was it like playing down there with people from all different countries? I mean, that's a lot of high quality baseball down there, even though it is, rookie level baseball. What was that like? I guess maybe a class of cultures, getting to play with guys from all over the United States, but also all over the world, certainly from this hemisphere.
Yes, sir. Well, it was definitely fun because, my roommate, Daryl Hernandez, he speaks both languages. So if I had any questions with Spanish, he would help me out if I didn't know any. And I've been working on Spanish a lot, but he's probably I'm more relatable to him than anybody else. We're both the youngest there and both middle infielders. So he's like a brother of mine, and we've always just clicked as soon as we met each other, and then just being able to play with all the other Dominicans and anybody else that are out of the country, that just having him to, help carry on conversation with them, and even on the field, giving me some more tips on how to communicate with them and what they're saying. It really helps a lot because that's one of the big things in baseball is communication.
Yeah, I understand. And as far as this summer, Gunnar, I guess you're as in the dark as anybody about are they going to have minor league baseball?
Yeah, as of right now, I mean, I don't guess we have a season. I mean, they haven't told any of the minor leaguers anything, so I know they're just extending the major league rosters, and I guess just keeping us on the low right now. I haven't heard anything for certain yet, so y'all's guess is as good as mine right now.
Right now, and I think the Major League may try to play as early as July 1st, but that seems like they don't have a plan for that yet. What are you doing to try to keep yourself ready for something that might potentially come along?
Just working out at least 4 days a week, and I'll just hitting the cage. And now that the high school field's back open, I'll go up there and I'll hit. So I'm glad they got it back open so I can start to hit a lot more and take some ground balls on the field.
Okay. We're talking with Gunnar Henderson, who was a star at Morgan Academy. He was the 2019 Player of the Year in the state of Alabama for both the public and private schools. Gunnar hit 59 with 11 home runs and 75 RBIs in 32 games for Morgan Academy, and was drafted in the second round by the Orioles. What do you remember most, Gunnar, about your 4 years of playing? Because you started for 4 years at Morgan. What do you remember most about your 4 years at Morgan Academy?
Well, first off was just being able to play with my older brother in my 8th grade, 9th grade year. That was probably that was probably one of the best experiences I had. And then my 12th grade year was probably the most fun year, just being with the people I've always grown up with. And then always having those memories of just being able to play with my best friends. And then having a great year, but even though we didn't close it out, I wouldn't have traded that year for anything.
Yeah, I tell you what, it was a lot of fun to watch y'all play. We've had Jeremy Lee on this program. We've also had Matthew Donut Davis on the program, and going to try to get Braden, maybe our next guy on there. But those are some really good baseball players you play with. I mean, it was phenomenal for us to watch that team.
Yeah, sir. I hated Jeremy and Donut couldn't get their senior year in, but I know they're going to be very successful next year when they go off to college. So can't wait to see what they can do. And then Braden, you've already seen what he can do at Auburn. So hated he missed his freshman year, but he'll carry it on his sophomore year. I know he will.
Now, you're in the Baltimore Orioles chain, and most of their minor league teams, after you leave Sarasota, most of their minor league teams are up in Maryland or Virginia, up that way. And if you're not a big Bird fan, you're not going to have any fun playing up there, because you got the Aberdeen Ironbirds, which is Cal Ripken's complex,
yes,
team, I guess, and then the Delmarva Shorebirds. So if you don't like birds, you're in the wrong place, huh?
Yes, sir. That's right. Better find a different place to play.
Okay, well, Gunnar, we really hope you can get back to some action this summer. We hope this coronavirus subsides enough for minor league baseball to start up. I was just kind of thinking out loud to myself, I wonder what they'll do, like Arizona fall ball or anything like that might be an option. But like you said, they're just kind of keeping you on the dark. I don't really know anything, do you, at this point?
No, sir. I mean, I've kind of heard a rumor about maybe a prospect league, but I have no earthly idea. There hasn't been anything set in stone. All I've heard is a few rumors, but nothing's been even said about it.
Right. Yeah, I just think, quite frankly, nobody knows. Well, folks, we appreciate y'all joining us on this edition of the Bullet Sports Bulletin. It's been brought to you by Gus Colvin State Farm and Ryan Select Turf. We've been chatting with Gunnar Henderson, a prospect in the Baltimore Orioles chain and Player of the Year in the state of Alabama in 2019 in high school. And he's hoping to continue his career with the Orioles organization whenever they do start back up, play some baseball. And Gunnar, make sure you stay in touch with us and let us know where you're going and where we can catch the games online.
Yes, sir. Will do.
All righty, folks. Thank y'all so much for listening to us. We want to thank the folks at Scott Communications for letting us do this program. And thank everyone for their feedback. We've had lots of people tell us how much they're enjoying this program. We hope to continue it at least throughout the summer. So for everyone associated with Scott Communications, this is Bullet Hand saying so long.
So there's Bullet Sports Bulletin, some interesting stuff from Gunnar. And see, nobody really knows what's happening next as far as sport. And I think that's true for a lot of things, Cindy. It's not just sports.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a lot of things are kind of up in the air as to as we get back to normalcy, how far do we go, how much do we do, and how fast do we go? There's a lot of questions.
Well, and I think the uncertainty plays a role in our ability to make good decisions about what we want to do for the future too. So it definitely is having a lasting effect. But I do think it's really exciting to hear from him on what he's doing to keep his career. He's so young.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like he's 30-something and this could be the end of his career kind of thing. No, he's still getting started. Definitely has, like you said, work out and stay in shape, because maybe they do pull out a half season or something that I think would be really exciting. But yeah, it's very interesting to hear a local Morgan Academy kid that's making it big.
Yeah,
hopefully.
it is. That's cool. But, you bring out another good question. You talk about him being so young, which, by the way, if 30 is old, I'm in serious trouble. But
hey, in sports.
yeah, you're right. I know. But
it takes a toll on your body.
Yeah, it does. But, what about people like, back to NASCAR, because I love it so much and because it's in the news hot and heavy right now. This was going to be Jimmy Johnson's final year to race full time.
Okay. Yeah.
So, especially a big star like Jimmy Johnson, a big star like that in any sport who decided that 2020 was going to be their retirement year, do they come back next year to have a full season? Or do they take this truncated season and just say, well, that's it?
Yeah.
I mean, that question's been posed a number
of
times.
You don't get the same kind of goodbye that
right.
others get when they leave and the hurrah.
Yeah.
You're right.
So, again, that's another one of those questions that we just don't know. It hadn't happened before, so we don't know where to go from here. And we are all kind of trying to figure that out as we inch forward.
Yes, it's been a crazy year.
Yeah, it has been. I'm sure it's going to be one that's going to be in our memory for quite a while. But the best thing to do, though, like we say, is just to, I guess, follow the suggestions from the doctors.
Everyone reacts differently with it. So, and one thing I've noticed on, for instance, on my Facebook, there was one that was like, here's what 2020, when a kid asked me what was 2020 like, and it was a giant garbage truck on fire driving super fast around a turn. It's like,
Yeah.
I think that's funny.
Yeah, it is.
Not everybody thinks this is funny, but in some ways we have to laugh through this.
Well, you're right. We're at a point where if you don't laugh, you're going to cry, and I'd much rather laugh. And
Yeah.
let's make a little bit of a
I've had
joke.
some tears, and the kids have been bored, and schooling. My kids have realized that's the one thing I think that I've learned with my kids that might help is I think they're going to actually look forward to going to school.
See, and you've had a challenge with homeschooling your kids, whereas my kids is totally opposite. They love it.
Yours are used
they were
to
doing
it,
it
and they love
anyway, and so there's another aspect that people are being introduced to. Do you continue to homeschool, or when the schools open back up, do your kids want to go back?
Mine want to go back. Well, we talk about this though. There's a social benefit and also kind of a learning as a group.
Right.
And that, like my son, who I used to beg to homeschool when he was in 3rd, 4th grade. Now we're rising 8th grade. And he's like, I don't want to learn from you. I do better with the teacher. I like it better in a classroom. So it's given them a chance to kind of see that maybe what they thought they wanted isn't what they want. I think they do learn better. And that's not all kids. Like yours are doing great at home. But there are some kids that learn better in an environment and more kids. And and especially because William needs, my 13-year-old, kind of needs to hear other people's opinions because he just has his own and doesn't listen to other opinions. And I think that's what the hive mind of school gives you. You've got these kids, especially because my kids are city kids that came into Morgan for only 2 weeks in March.
Right.
They're going, my 4th grader had kids that have farms.
Right.
And all, like in the Zoom meetings, this one had so many birds. She's coming into the screen with a different bird each time. I'm like, I didn't know that there were that many pet birds. Chickens. There was one that held a chicken during her Zoom meeting. And we were in Hoover for years and years and Trustful before that, these, pretty well off suburbs, and getting a big kick. In fact, she kicked me off. I was on the Zoom meeting with Allie because I was so interested in what animals they were going to bring into the picture. And she kept saying, this is my meeting. Get out of my meeting. And I'm like, but what if they bring a pig next? I just couldn't stand it. I just had to see what was next.
Yeah. Well, that's it. That
And
is
they're
interesting.
10.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, so I think they're getting to know each other in much different ways.
Yeah, that's true.
And because they're at home, they can bring the pig into the screen. And Allie's like, I didn't know you could have a pig at home for a pet.
Well,
so they're learning about each other in much different ways than you and I would at school.
Yeah, exactly.
But Allie is lonely. I will give you that. Like we started setting meeting, FaceTime with some of her friends just one-on-one, because there's only so much a social kid can do when you're stuck at home. So, we were trying to find new ways, because we're still pretty quarantined, I must admit.
Yeah.
We have not gone really anywhere. We have not been in a Walmart at all, not even with a mask on. So it's been really interesting.
My kids have gotten out a bit, but not nearly as much. So yeah, same here as far as that goes. So. And I wanted to bring this up, too, before we run out of time. I want to remind everybody, speaking of the COVID and the testing and whatnot, that the MyQuestCOVIDTest.com, you can go and schedule a meeting. The Mondays and Fridays from 10 to 3, they're having the drive-through COVID testing out at Memorial Stadium. Just want to remind everybody of that. And, that's just...
Yes, testing is available.
Yeah, testing is available, and that's one of the reasons why the numbers keep going. I tell you something interesting, though.
Right.
Every week I have gone to this map that's online that has been keeping up with the counties.
The dashboard?
Well, it's actually it's a little bit different dashboard, because there's one on one website that gives just for the state and whatnot. But this one actually goes down to each separate county in each state. That map's not online anymore. I can't find it.
I wonder if it's so hard to keep up with the numbers, but the Alabama Department of Public Health,
yes,
and it's their Division of Infectious Diseases and Outbreaks, they have one. I'm looking at it right now because I do a roundup for each day on selmasun.com. If you want to know what our numbers were for the previous day, I do one every day. We're at 167 confirmed cases, still holding at 3 deaths,
right,
which is good. And I think it's important for us to know what the numbers are each day. And of course, the test numbers go up. People being tested.
The more testing, the more. And the only thing that and I guess I could say the only problem I have with the numbers is they're not subtracting the ones who have gotten over it. So that's 167 total cases. Yeah, if it's 167 total, how many of those are still actually active cases, and how many of them have gotten better and gone home? I'd like to know that differentiation as well.
Or gotten better at home.
Or gotten better at home, yeah, exactly.
I hate to say it, but we haven't had as many cases, but listening to, I have Sirius XM, and I've listened to Howard Stern there in New York, and listening to their kind of symptoms and stuff where they get it more and it's not as bad, or it's a different type, has been interesting, because it's like, I was really tired that night. But we may be showing it in different ways, or we may be carriers and never get it.
Right.
And there's a lot we don't know down here, because there are fewer people and less population, and we've been blessed with fewer cases.
Well, speaking of Selma Sun Online and Selma Sun, why don't you give them a quick rundown of what they can expect in tomorrow's paper?
Right. So we have a lot of news this week. We do break down the tourism report that Cheryl had talked about. So look for that. Todd Prater, who you all know we are talking to, has a story about the handgun and ammunition sales that has been pretty tight right now. And we give reasons why. Coronavirus is one of them, but also an election year is a reason that it goes up. So we also have the tax delinquencies for Dallas County. If you think your taxes are delinquent right now, we have 4 full pages of 240-ish that are due. We have that posted at selmasun.com under our e-editions. We believe that everyone should be able to read it, not just our subscribers, and see if you are on that list. But it is also part of our full stories, our full paper. If you want to get copies, we have news racks around town.
So we've got a lot of stuff in the paper this week then.
It's pretty packed, yes.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. Well, it's been a good show. It's been a good week, and I thank you so much again, Cindy, for being with us and doing this. And I thank all our folks that we were able to interview. And, of course, some of them recorded because they couldn't be here this early in the morning, and interviews that we ran on Facebook Live and whatnot. So I appreciate that, and Cheryl for joining us. What we got going on? I'm sorry?
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say we'll have a lot of good stuff next week, too. Couple ideas for some interviews, and of course during the week I'll let you know on Kix Country 101.5 and on Alex what to expect for next week.
And if you have suggestions, listeners, if you have suggestions of folks you'd like to hear from, we've been getting a lot of people that want to be on that are calling us and asking us to come on. So absolutely, we are listening. Facebook, Selma Sun newspaper, our site. We've been posting each week when we're on there. Tell us underneath who you'd like to hear from, and we'll give them a call.
That sounds like a plan. And, of course, you can always call me at the station as well. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.